Welcome to this evening's episode 6 of the podcast Get It Forward, and tonight we've got a bit of a non-league legend with us, Dom Roma. Welcome, Dom.
Cheers.
Welcome, Dom.
Cheers.
Just before we start, Guinness glasses. Guinness glasses. We've had some Anna got Boddington's glass, so we've got Guinness glasses tonight. So welcome, Dom.
Cheers.
Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no worries.
Obviously, we've been researching your non-league career. 39, is that right?
Yeah, 39.
Feel
Yeah.
39?
After games, yeah. I feel horrendous after games sometimes, especially Saturday, Tuesdays, but not feeling too bad at the moment.
So we talked just before, obviously, when you've come in and this is the first time you've played below step
3.
3
Yeah.
in a career that spans.
I think I dropped into Conference North at 21 when I left Sheffield.
So a good 18
Good
years.
18 years, yeah.
18, yeah.
Yeah.
So phenomenal career. So yeah, tell us about your journey, mate. So obviously your junior football, we always like to hear them because it's always nice to give a call out to them grassroots team, and then just take us through your career, mate.
Yeah, sound. So I started at about 8, 9. My old man took me to Young Owls. I know Wardy mentioned it. I know Wardy mentioned it, but Young Owls and like Junior Blades and Middlewood, they were like the teams that were you wanted to play for when you were young. So my old man got me into that. After I think Wednesday used to run some satellite centre at Hillsborough on a Saturday mornings, and I went there, and then they said, "Oh, can you go and try out for Young Owls?" So I did. And ended up playing for them up front, believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah, I was centre forward when I first started playing football.
Prolific.
Do you know what I were? And this sounds daft, and you might be able to back me up on this, but when we were coming through leagues, Billy Sharp were at Middlewood, I were at Young Owls, and it would always be him that were vying for top goal scorer, when we were playing Sunday League football. And obviously he was a better one because the career that he's gone and had. But,
It's not done bad, has it?
No, they were always we always used to bank goals in me and him. It were he'd get 30 one season, I'd get 28, I'd do it another season, 30 odd, he'd get 30 odd as well. So I'd done that for probably 4 years-ish. You go on Isle of Wight tours and all that, which I don't think they do now. I don't think in Sunday League. But
we used to do a Scotland tour out at Roma St George's, so when I grew up in that side, and you always used to aspire to, it used to be Junior Blades, Young Owls, like you say, they always used to be a better size. We used to up to Scotland, so we used to have trips up there, play Celtic boys and people like that, but I think it sort of gone off a little bit, hasn't it, in junior football?
It's just started again now.
Is it?
Last year we went with Redford, we went to Filey.
Yeah.
And we just booked for Skeggy.
Decent.
Baybank Holiday.
Yeah.
I just think them weekends are
the class on it.
It's definitely time to remember.
Yeah, and I can remember going to
we'll have a couple of drinks and lads are just running about
all over the place. And we used to do Isle of Wight, and I'm sure we did Yarmouth and places like that, and it were good. And my old man took me everywhere, getting up at God knows what time after being on 12 hours and taking me training and stuff like that. And then opportunity came up to go in at Sheffield United. I think it was Centre of Excellence then. There weren't no academies. I think I was 13 when I went in there. Again, went in as a centre forward and did all right. And I think one season we were mad short on defenders. I think when I was under 14, something like that.
You were at background going, I can do it.
I know that were it. And I think one of the managers just said it was Tony Tunstall, who's a bit of a legend in coaching around Sheffield. He's coached a lot of young lads and still does now in academies. And he was like, "Don't you want to play centre half?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, so." And that were it then. I was there and I kept playing there up until getting I got offered a scholar at 15, so there was a group of us. There was myself.
I was about to say, who
there was myself, Bill, Colin Marison, Ian Ross, Jonathan Forte, a lad called Craig McGuinness, James Ashmore, and we kind of were because we all played for Sheffield Boys as well, and we used to go to Liverpool Boys and batter them, Manchester Boys and batter them. They were the bigger teams were starting to get in touch with Sheffield about us all and stuff, and Sheffield ended up offering us all as scholars and pros at 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So, which weren't good for me when I was at school, because obviously I knew what I was doing until I was 21 then. So I sacked school off, like, I signed that and I was like, oh, I don't need school now. Yeah, I know, yeah.
Sat back at class
Yeah.
I'm sorted,
I
lads.
know, I went into school thinking, well, I know what I'm doing when I leave.
Did you feel it having that effect on you?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So were you like sort of, so you know that group of lads there's, by the way, some
Good
top
players,
ballers
I know,
there,
yeah,
you know,
I
like
know.
talk about Rossi, Ashmore, Cole Morrison, who I know very well, Jonathan Ford. These
Yeah.
lads have had, some have had decent
Yeah.
careers and
Yeah.
then dropped into non-league. Some
Yeah.
have done similar route to yourself in terms of a lot of time in non-league.
Yeah.
What a good group of lads. So I'm
Oh,
assuming they were
top-
top boys.
Yeah, top lads.
Still
and
keep
like,
in touch with them?
I keep in touch with him. I live across the road from Cole, so I see
Yeah.
Cole quite a lot. Like, I ain't seen some of them for a while, but yeah, there were some like proper players. Like, and obviously, like you said, a lot of them, especially John and Bill, have gone on to have like top league careers. And Bill's, I think, he's
Still speak to Bill, like if you see you, like he's down to earth in that
yeah.
sense.
When I see him, yeah, he's top. I mean, obviously, my job at the moment, I see him like prior to him leaving Sheffield. I used to see him quite regular at work, and it was just like we kind of just fell back into being at youth team and stuff. And I think because we'd all been there from like 13 onwards, we were all decent mates, and like we used to go out, and when we were at youth team, we used to go out and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of like just knew what I was doing when I left school.
Ever just turn around to your mum and dad on like one day and say, do I have to bother with school?
Yeah, but like my mum was like my mum's worked in school. She was a teacher and a teaching assistant, so she was like, "Now you're going." But I just remember just knowing what I was doing. I remember like we had a careers class and someone come in external and they were like, "You have to write down what you want to do when you leave school." And I knew what I was doing, so I put footballer. And she went, "Oh, young man, like, what do you want to write?" "Oh, I want to be a footballer." And she went, "Oh, there's always one." And like a PE teacher, a PE teacher went, "No, he's actually sorted until he's like 21." And she was like, "Oh, all right. Well, what do you want to do if it don't work out?" And I went, "Oh, PE teacher," which eventually that's what I went into. But yeah, we all went in as scholars at 16 or YTS.
Were you always interested in just sport in general, then, Dom, or always football? Were it any other sports you were interested in growing up?
Really, no.
Just footy?
Footy, yeah, because like back in the day, you used to go out with your mates after school and just play football for hours, didn't you?
Don't happen now.
No, it done.
And I think a big thing, we were discussing, obviously, we got little at 12, and when they were young, you can't get on school fields. Like,
No.
there's fencing round, there's barriers up.
But it used to be 6-week holidays. I talked to my girls about it now. They're in and they're on phones. They're always on phones.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, TikTok this. And I said, you know, now we're your age. And then they think I'm lying. But for that 6-week holiday, you met your mates at 10 o'clock
Yeah, you
on
were
field,
just out,
and you were out till
Yeah.
dark came, and you used to go in and not, I don't
No,
talk had you?
no.
You didn't even think about it, because you
Yeah.
were just sport mad, footy mad, we were saying.
Yeah.
For the ice pop spot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were 15 then, Dom, you must be thinking. It's a bit of a strange... Well, yeah, it's a bit of a strange one though, isn't it, where you're playing as a striker,
Yeah.
getting your contract while you were playing up front, or while you were
No,
playing
when I moved to back.
Right, so if you
Yeah.
hadn't have done that,
Do you know what? I might have gone a different route. I might not have even like gone on and played.
yeah,
And it was only because my old man had a bit of an open mind to it. He was like, "Yeah, just give it a go, like, and you never know what'll happen." And it was something like I just kind of picked up naturally. Like, I don't know if it's because I've played against defenders being a striker. I kind of knew where they were going to run and how they were going to run and what runs they'd make. And yeah, I kind of just like fell into it, and then went into Sheffield at 16 to do start my scholar or YTS, and then stayed there until I was like 21 and had like England call-ups at like 17s and 8. So I got my first call-up at under 18s and 19s, and then went on like an under 20s training camp and stuff like that. So played like
over and around that time, then Dom was like
So-
lads who have gone on to do.
they were like Scott Carson, Ross Turnbull, who went Chelsea keeper.
Middlesbrough, weren't you?
Yeah, Middlesbrough. I travelled down with Scott.
Another super red.
Yeah, he did. So I used to travel down with Scott quite a bit because they'd send cars to pick you up from wherever your journey were to take you down to training camp, and they'd get him at Leeds and then pick me up on way. So
He's got no bad Scott.
yeah, I know. Yeah, he's
Is he still registered? As a player.
I think he was on bench the other day, I think.
I mean, they do programmes, don't they, on City? He looks after his
Yeah.
as well, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah.
I think they love him, don't they?
Yeah.
They just love him, like
Yeah.
his personality and that, man, from what I've seen. So.
Yeah, so there were them two. Cherno Samba, remember it? Football Manager legend. He were in it. Who else were in that? Anton Ferdinand played.
Wow.
Chris Eagles.
Brilliant, yeah.
Striker Lewis Guy that were at Donny in Newcastle.
Good lads, then.
Yeah, and there were some top players that probably didn't go on and play as high as they could. Simon Francis, he were in that team as well, Bournemouth and Sheffield and stuff. So yeah, it was decent.
How many caps?
I got 6.
6.
Yeah.
Most memorable game in them 6?
Probably my first game against Portugal because I was knackered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was red hot in Portugal. And I remember first off thinking, this is sharp, this.
Right.
Like, this is sharp. And like, do you know when you just like, you're trying to like get through it?
Yeah.
Because I'd gone from playing all season at centre half for Sheffield, when it were England, my first game were right back. And it were like, obviously it's a totally different game. How they wanted you to play was kind of like now. The coach, bless him, Dick Bate, who's no longer with us anymore, he was like a pioneer at the time, and he had like rotations and stuff that I'd never like seen before or done before as a fullback. And yeah, I just remember coming in thinking, this is sharp, like I'm knackered here. And I got through the game and stuff, and in my second game I played centre half, which again I was pleased about because there were loads of stuff on ball, but yeah, it was just a different level. Like, yeah, just a different level.
Was it a warm day as well?
I was boiling. Yeah, I just remember it being red hot, and just thinking, oh, these are like proper players, like proper players.
It's got another level.
Yeah.
Even from like Sheffield Youth and stuff.
Yeah, because like we were probably one of the best youth teams at that time at Sheffield, so we used to dominate games. And like we'd go to Man U and beat them, and we'd go to Liverpool and beat them, and Leeds and beat them, because there weren't no Cat 1, Cat 2 then. It were like centre of excellence. You kind of played who were in and around it. And I remember us going to Spurs and beating Spurs, and we used to dominate games because we did have a very good team. But I just remember going away in my first game for England. I was like, this is like next level. This.
You can't go watch it.
No, it were in Portugal. Like my old man were working, so. No, I didn't go and watch, but yeah, it was sharp. Like.
Ever play at Old Wembley? Like,
no, I didn't. No, we played at Sporting Lisbon's ground, which was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, never played at Old Wembley. Yeah, I know.
Well, I think Lloyd he has done.
Yeah, I know.
He scored 2 goals, and them 2 were at Torquay, not at Wembley.
Right.
We had a bit of a laugh about that, like, you know, saved him up for Torquay.
Yeah, not at Wembley. But yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, all my games for England, to be fair, were all abroad. Yeah, like Euro qualifiers and stuff like that. So I remember went to Russia as well, which that were an experience. Yeah, I just remember stepping off plane and like it being Baltic. Proper Baltic, like snow everywhere and stuff, and
bit like here stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, we got to hotel, and like when you stopped in England, all hotels were like top, like champagnes and all that lot. And when we got to Russia, it weren't. We stopped in some hotel which were built for the Olympics, when they had the Olympics in Russia. I don't know when that were. But yeah, it weren't like nothing. Like it were. No, and like. I would imagine it's different now when lads go on international duty, but it weren't like, they didn't cater food wise to us at all. It weren't like we took us own chef, it was like we ate what they kind of provided for us. And it was like I think it were like fish eggs and stuff like that. And I was like, what is this? And I remember just living off wine gums. I remember living off wine gums, Lucasades, and Yazoo's, like Nesquik Yazoo's for like a week. Because I didn't like what they were serving. So yeah,
we're all lads like that.
All lads were like that, yeah.
We get some our Russian shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a good experience.
Gloves on foot game or?
No.
Tough Yorkshireman.
Yeah, no gloves on foot game. No Under Armour, because it weren't really a thing then either. Like you wear Under Armour, so yeah, I just remember being freezing. Yeah, but again, it was a good experience and kind of led to like getting my caps and stuff like that. So
it's brilliant. I mean, great achievement there. Like, literally take that off to you. Like, you know, if you play at that standard, that's that's just parts
Yeah.
of the memory of your career, which you must pinch yourself a little bit like sometimes. And
yeah, I mean, because I'm still playing, I probably don't look back on it as much as I should,
No.
because I'm still in it.
said that, Auntie, that it's not until you actually take that step back.
yeah.
But looking at you, you've got another 5 years before you go.
But Bolter's like saying that to me. He's like, you can do another couple of years,
To be
can't
fair,
you?
he did say when he walked in, I'm feeling alright.
Yeah, I do feel alright, to be fair.
So Balls, if you're watching, there's a couple of years
And,
contract.
and there's no vodka involved.
No,
It's
yeah,
just
I know.
Coke.
I know. But yeah, no, it were good. Like, and then obviously came back and played loads of reserve games at Sheffield, which were proper reserves.
Yeah.
You were playing with first team players that weren't in squad or coming back from injury, and you were playing against the
It was a proper reserve league.
Yeah, it was close as you could have got to like proper football, like league football, because you had to perform still. Like I was playing back forward with like Chris Morgan and stuff, and like Rob Coslock and Alan Wright if they ever weren't playing, and like Mike
they'd let you
Liddell.
know.
Yeah, they'd let you know if you weren't doing it, which for me was good, like because if you're going to go and try and forge a career in game, you do need to be like dug out every now and then. And,
You do, 100%. I think it makes you react.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, it does. So yeah, and then went on loan to Tamworth while I were at Sheffield, which were a good experience. Played under Mark Cooper, who were player manager then, but still.
Is he awful?
I think so. Yeah,
He's done
yeah, no,
his few clubs.
yeah,
hasn't he?
yeah.
He's done all right. Yeah.
Swindon, I think,
Yeah,
as well. And again, there were some characters there, like there were like Carl Eggs who was there, who were funny as all, like proper.
He got mentioned last
Old
night.
school.
Carl Eggs,
Did
he?
it?
He did, yeah. He did.
Yeah, so I like my first kind of experience of like blokes that were like still professional but like to laugh as well. Obviously Sheffield at the time, like there were some funny characters like Rob Coslock. So, yeah, he used to like dig me out, and he still does now when I see him. Like, but yeah, like Eggsy, and there were like Adi Smith, who again was captain at the time, who was class, but loved a joke. Who else? The centre forward at West Brom, Bob Taylor, is it?
Yeah, God, yeah.
Yeah. So he was coming to the back end of his career.
Bolton, West Brom,
Yeah, and again he liked to laugh, and
He scored a few actually, didn't he?
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, and we signed Paul Merson while they were there as well. So like, not many people can say they played with Paul Merson, but like I remember.
I can remember him signing there. So
Yeah.
he'd have been like Portsmouth, Walsall, and then Tamworth.
Yeah, because he knew Coops, I think, through some like I don't know how he knew him, but he knew him. Yeah, we signed him, and I think his first game and my first game were against Halifax when Wilder were in charge, I think. But I just remember me saying, change room, like, that's Paul Merson. He were a jokester. A joke. Like he'd be like, Dom, like when I get it, just make you run and I'll find you. And, like he didn't know me from Adam. Like I was some kid on loan from Sheffield. Like Paul Merson, innit? Do you know what I mean? And he did. He'd make you run and outside at right foot and it'd be into your path, and I'd be like, flipping heck.
The dead sound as a bloke. Like,
Sound. Yeah, told us some stories about like when he were like on England tours and how they used to like get up to like not mischief but like bits and bobs, and like him, and I'm sure he said like him and one other players used to bet on like raindrops getting to the bottom of the window first.
I went to see him at Gentleman's Eve. When he were at Middlesbrough, Gazza were at Middlesbrough. And they had a competition. They had a bottle of vodka and some sleeping tablets.
I've heard that one. Yeah.
They both for £1,000. The first one to fall asleep, like money, like so. But he was just so open about it. And obviously had his negatives with his gambling addiction and obviously booze and whatever else. But such I found him like quite refreshing. He were open about it.
Yeah, I mean, like he only had a few games because I mean he was just a level above, like a level that he's played at. You could see it. Yeah. And I don't know if like he probably thought, fuck this, I'm not coming I'm playing with these Joey. But he probably didn't. But like. He only played for a couple of games, but like I remember just being sat there thinking that's Paul Merson. It was just crazy. And that were like one at loans I did, which were a good experience because they were in conference at the time. I think I played about 25 games in conference, and then.
So you played fullback for them?
Yeah, fullback. Yeah.
Some achievement in it as your first foray into
Yeah.
football to get 25 games in
At a conference level.
It's not like you're going in at uni running straight in at conference.
Yeah. And then I went Boston on loan as well. They were in League Two at the time. Again, some top players there like Jason Lee were there, Chrissy Holland, Lee Thompson, who was, I'm sure you probably know Tom. We had Nathan Abbey in net. And then there were a bit of a Scottish contingent as well, because obviously Steve Evans brought a lot of lads down from Scotland, and again that was like just a totally different experience because it was Steve Evans. I remember just being like,
is he what it portrays?
Yeah, I mean this is like 20 years ago, so and he was a lot younger, and like his assistant Paul Rayner was my like 16s coach at Sheffield, so that's kind of how it came about, because he'd always followed us when I went into Sheffield.
So were Paul Steve's assistant at Boston as well?
Yeah. So I think that's how the loan kind of they have, and I think that's how the loan kind of came about, because Rains knew me anyway, and then he'd seen obviously me coming through ranks at Sheffield, and then I ended up going on loan and made my league debut at Bristol Rovers away. Mark Jr. a go bless him, Mark, who obviously not here anymore, but proper, like it was just proper. And it were an eye-opener, because like even then, like at Sheffield you're still in like your little bubble, like it's comfortable, training grounds the same as what it is now, and I remember just going on loan and it being hard, like, because again it were a step up again, like League Two, and like,
League Two.
And I was like, and I enjoyed it and I played, but part of me, like, I didn't want to go back and extend my loan. They wanted to extend my loan and I didn't, because ultimately I was out of my comfort zone and I wanted to be back in my comfort zone as a kid. But looking back now, I should have stuck it out until the end of the season, because I might have played like 20 odd league games by the time.
What did you say, just a month?
A month, and they wanted to extend it till the end of the season. And I remember Jason Lee saying to me at the time, like, stay, like, because you never know what might happen type thing, and I just like, oh no, I want to go back, and I should have stayed, but
what were calling you back then? No, what just the comfort?
Like everything was familiar at Sheffield. Lads.
I think that's a big one. I've got in mind that, like, when you say same group of lads that's gone through a couple of years and then as apprentices, then starting as pros.
So what would you have been there at Boston, 21?
No, we're only 19. Still only young, so again, like, it was just I wanted to get back to what I knew. And then I wish I'd have stuck it out, because again I might have played 20 odd games, and then by the time I was 19 I could have potentially played 50 games across conference and League Two.
And stepped up conference League Two, and then you're like thinking,
I might have another loan at League Two or whatever, like, and I was kind of in a bit of a comfort zone when I came back from Boston, and I still had a couple of years left on my deal at Sheffield, and turned a couple of loans down, which I shouldn't have done when I was younger. I could have gone to, I could have gone down south to Cambridge. I didn't want to travel. I was like, no, I'm alright, and I should have gone again.
that is a fair trek for you.
It is, and especially
like the gigs, isn't it?
It would have been, and like, when you're a northern lad, you don't really want to go down south here. Like,
had similar conversations, haven't we? Like Rich was saying, Rich Tracy to us, obviously moving to Carlisle and found it really difficult, just for that very reason, that it was he was a young lad and he'd always reminded his mum and dad. And now it's like you're in digs with another lad who you know how to cook. And he said it was a right eye opener. And I get where you're coming from to an extent, Mike. I think
if you'd gone to Cambridge, a lot of Yazoos that.
About 3 months of the Yazoos, I'd have been living on them.
There'd have been a little bag of clothes and 2 or 3 suitcases in Yazoos.
I know.
Where else could you have gone then, Dom?
So at that time when I was at Sheffield, the main one I turned down was Cambridge, and then my agent who was looking after me at the time, I think he must have just got pissed off with me, like turning it down, and then I kind of just seen my contract out at Sheffield for a couple of years, playing like loads of reserve games, and when I was in my last year, it was Morgs actually that were like, listen, like, you need to go and like play, like you're 20 now, like you need to go and be playing and building on what you kind of done before. And he set me up with an agent, and I was kind of like Rotherham at the time, I think they were in League Two. They were kind of looking at us with a view to like signing us when I left Sheffield, towards back end of that season.
Perfect move there.
Yeah. So it would have been ideal for me, like on doorstep. Back into that season, I played in a resi game, and as I've jumped up for a header, I've got nudged, and as I've landed with my knee straight, and like that were. I didn't need an opera, but it set me out for a couple of months. And when summer come, I kind of like. I weren't really as fit because I had like 3 months off, like getting my knee sorted again. And then Colin Harrison were like, "Oh, do you want to come to Hinckley?" Like, because manager knows you and he likes you, he's seen you play. And yeah, I kind of just like, not fell out of love with full-time football, but I think because my career at the time, I kind of not got where I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, yeah, I'll go and drop into non-league.
Do you know, in terms of like your Sheffield United days, and were there just not another contract offer for you, or did they give a reason why, or were there just so many good lads?
They didn't really give reasons back then. Nah, it was like, obviously like manager at the time, Neil Warnock, who was like a legend and won that many promotions and stuff like that. He liked his experienced players, and which, you know, is rightly so, because it just shows what he's done. And as a defender, you're probably never going to get chucked in. It's a bit different, I think, if you're a winger or a forward, because you can produce something, can't you? Like, or something might land here in boxing, you might put it away. But when you're a defender, and you kind of always want experience. And I kind of, I knew that like I weren't going to get old.
It's like in a game, isn't it? When you're a defender, you tend to not get changed as a defender unless there's some injury or going really.
And going back 18, 19 years since, it was a different style of football. I'm not going to chuck a young lad in that's going to then kind of get up. Is he going to have elbow or cross?
I know.
Yeah, because they were physical, weren't they?
It were physical. And I remember I travelled with them loads, so when I was like getting called up for England and stuff, I was travelling with first team all the time and in squad loads. And I remember Warnock saying to me, like, you know, I probably wouldn't play here at centre half because obviously I'm not the biggest. But, you know, centre, like fullback might come up. But then I had like Rob Coslock in front of me who were like class, and like Delgiri who came, who were class and played at highest level, and like they were Alan Wright at left back, and I was never going to play in front of these players. And looking back, they were established, and like looking back, I probably should have focused on like nailing my position younger, because I played centre half quite a bit through youth team and got called up for England at centre half and stuff, and played loads of reserve games at centre half. But I probably should have realised that I weren't ever going to play there really. I should have been like, no, I want to be a fullback, and kind of focused on doing that. But I didn't. And then
You never drop it in that you used to be up top.
I
Can do a job up top.
I think that's hard though, isn't it, to change?
Yeah.
I think like we're not saying you've played centre half and not had any success there. You've been called up to England. You know what I mean? It's like you're not as if you've gone in at Sheffield as a centre half and not done particularly well and thought, you know what, thinking of that fullback. You were centre half and you were exceeding probably expectations and getting your England call ups and that. So I don't blame you for not going.
No.
I want to be a fullback, but then obviously, like you just said, you probably reflect on it and go, might be better with that.
I probably should have done like. I should have realised I probably weren't going to be big enough. But like you say, like I still find it now comfortable at playing centre half. So I think if you can read game and you've got half a bit like in your legs, like you can kind of don't get yourself in any situations where you're going to get caught out or out. And I always found that like I found it comfortable there, but I should have focused on being a fullback, I think, at a younger age. And like I just played loads of reserves, and then just kind of left at 21 and then went and signed for Hinckley under Dean Thomas, who were in Conference North at the time.
Conference North.
Yeah.
So this started you?
Yeah, this started me kind of like non-league journey type thing. A good standard of football. I think that were kind of the period where non-league were kind of kicking off in terms of like money and stuff like that. Because I think like there's the time to deal with around it then. Like I think a lot of like businessmen wanted to own football clubs, and the owner at the time at Hinckley had a building business. So the first year was class. My first year was there, like the money were good and the standard were good. Dean Thomas, the manager, used to berate me like one half a game. Like every time I played on his side, he used to not again. But I played every game that season and enjoyed it. Assistant manager was Charlie Palmer. Remember him centre half at the county and stuff. And it was good. We had a good team. And
what sort of attendances were they getting?
we used to get like 500-600. Yeah. Like we were kind of like 10th, 11th, something like that.
Travelling on your own?
No, I travelled down with Col. So I travelled down with Col, which was quite good.
I'm going to say, good for you at that time?
Yeah, so like, obviously I had disappointment of not doing what I thought I should have done or maybe could have done higher up, but then thinking, I can get good money.
Both get released at the same time?
Both got released same year. And Col had been at Hinckley on loan before he'd been released. Yeah. And that's kind of how it came about a little bit. I think he must have said, you know, right back, and he was like, yeah, Dom. So I ended up signing a year and like
thinking,
car school and all that lot. And I remember like getting offered good money, like I think like 250, 300 quid. And I remember initially thinking, oh, I want to try and like still play higher if I can. And I'd not had any sort of concrete offers in summer. And I remember my old man being like, what are you doing? Like, it's good money that, like, for training 2 nights a week in a game on a Saturday. And I was like, actually, he's right, to be fair. So,
don't talk a lot of sense.
I know, yeah.
I'm look after it.
They put his board up as well.
Yeah, put the board up, yeah. I don't play like 20 quid a week to like 50 quid a week. But no, it was good. It was good. We had some good players, good non-league players, like proper blokes. And that was kind of like my first kind of like proper eye-opener and like non-league changing rooms and how they can be. I remember playing with a keeper called Chris Mackenzie who were there, being at Nuneaton and played the league for, I want to say Shrewsbury, might be wrong, but like being at Telford and stuff like that, and he was just a nutcase, like proper nutcase. If you went back at him, he'd like fly across you at change rooms and stuff. And yeah, I just remember being sat there thinking, right, I'm going to have to get used to this now.
This is Mr. Football.
Yeah, it's proper football. Like, I was getting dug out if I was shit. Because lads relied on like clean sheet bonuses and win bonuses and stuff to top the money up. So it was like, if I'd cost them a clean sheet, Macca would be like, so I was like, oh God, like, it's serious now.
It's a slow walk back into the change room now, and you're thinking, oh, fuck,
I know, and it was just, it was proper.
So this time you will have been young?
I was 21, yeah.
You would have been 21,
yeah.
These lads will have been...
Oh, like 30s. Yeah, been around it for a while. Kind of.
And at that point, they didn't give a fuck now.
They weren't bothered.
He'd been at Sheffield.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit. It still cost me 40 quid for the
game. I know, and I remember playing next to Tony Butler at centre half, again West Brom. Yeah. And he was centre half, and I remember him like tucking me inside the centre forward, and I'm like, hey, I've never done this before. Normally I tuck inside winger, and he was like, get inside here, and I was like, what? So I went like, Bucks, what are you on about? And he was like, and he wanted me to cover him basically. And Charlie Palmer was like, I know Charlie were good because he was like, Dom, I know you've never done this before, but like you're quick enough to get out there if it goes out there to winger, and you're quick enough to look after us as well. So like, if he wants you to do it, just fucking do it basically. Like so I did, and again it was like my first kind of like proper upbringing with getting dragged about really by Mesters. And his first season went like decent. Second season were hit and miss because it went, do you know, financial crisis hit in 2008, and like building firms went to pot, and obviously like our chairman, his firm were a building firm, so there were like a running joke where like we used to get paid by a cheque. So it was like
common theme again. Checks.
It was like a thing with lads where if you got if you got your check in first on a Monday morning, it'd cash. Like it was like right lads, you need to get it in Monday morning. If you didn't, if you left it till Tuesday, you knew it was going to bounce. You knew it was going to bounce, and to be
late to trade.
See, like lads nowadays, they'll either a bank transfer or cash. The one doesn't. When last time you wrote a check, you sent like a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
But it used to be the common thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Check. There's not even enough banks now.
No, they
don't.
This is probably right.
Yeah.
The post office job, wasn't it? But you ain't done it well like crackers. You used to get this bloody check, didn't you? You just hope for the best.
Yeah, it was like, right, I've got this, I need to get it in bank Monday morning, is it or not, it's going to bounce, like.
Yeah.
And to be fair to like the chairman, it weren't his fault because obviously the world was in turmoil, like, and yeah, we went through like months of like either not getting paid or like.
Up until that point, were you always there?
Yeah, it were always there. Like the first year, we were always there, and up until that happening, it were always there.
That's
So
a shame, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and like it again, like we all knew that it weren't him. Like it weren't him trying to stitch us up. He were on his arse as well and trying to sort his businesses out and stuff like that. And yeah, it kind of just like we'd gone from doing well to struggling big style, like from probably from about October onwards of my second season, and that's when things started, like checks were bouncing and stuff, and yeah, we struggled over Christmas, and then
do you reckon the impact of that?
Yeah, because
knock on lads.
yeah, you know
Lost a
what
few
it's
lads.
like. Yeah, we did lose a few lads because lads wanted the door, like, which is fair enough.
Would you have been 3 contacts at that point? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, yeah. So
you
like
all had
lads,
the trekking as well.
yeah, trekking and like 1 week as checkered cash, week after it might not, and yeah.
It can only have a negative impact.
Yeah, and like you can be as professional as you want and stuff, but ultimately, like there is going to be like back in mind where I'm not getting paid, like, and we did go like quite down in table and quite low in table, and then after Christmas we kind of like the manager Dean Thomas and Charlie were like, listen, we need to get lads together, and captain were lads, Richard Lavery, who's at Kettering now,
Okay.
proper top bloke, and we had like Jamie Lenton, who's been around like Southern Premier and stuff for years, Stewie Storer. We had Sam Shilton, who were like Peter Shilton's lad. Leon Kelly, who were there, proper top lad, like good laugh. Leon Jackson, who got into coaching now. And we all kind of just got together and we were like, look, we don't want a relegation on a CV, so let's kind of like kick on. Yeah, and we did, and Dean made a couple of good signings. We signed Adam Webster from Worcester at the time, who like just come in and everything he just went in there, and he basically kept us up. Yeah, he kept us up on his own. Him and we signed a winger called Andy Hall, and yeah, them two kind of just basically kept us up. And then, to be fair to the chairman, at the end of the season we had like an awards night and like a player of the season do and all that lot. And he gave us all his money in cash, everything that everybody was owed.
That goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And to be fair to him, and some on top of it as almost like a thanks type thing. Yeah. And yeah, so in the end it worked out all right. But it was tough, like obviously coming over Christmas and stuff. I just got my first house. Opportunity a couple of times came up to go back into full time when I was at Hinckley, but yeah, I never did because I'd got.
Stayed in league comfortably, or
Yeah, we stayed. I think we finished about 14th in end.
so not too much of a
No. We'd kind of like by about 5 games left, we'd kind of knew we were stopping up, and yeah, it was all right. And to be fair, but yeah,
Did a lot go then?
Loads left in summer. I went to Alfreton. I was under 24 at the time and I'd signed the contract, so obviously they could ask for money for me. So Alfreton paid a bit of money for us under Nicky Lowe.
Nicky Lowe.
Yeah. Because Ian Ross were there at Alfreton. Obviously, I'd played with Rossi for years and stuff, and that was another experience because I'd gone from Dean Thomas, who like used to be on at me, like to Nicky Lowe, who used to be on at me, and goes. So I was like, am I going to catch a break here or what? But yeah, no, going back to Hinckley, like I had opportunity to go back into full-time football. So my mate who were looking after me had played for Hinckley in the first year. He had come from Harrogate, Lee Philpott, I don't know if you remember, winger. Yeah, played for Cambridge and Leicester and Prem and stuff like that. So he came to Hinckley, then started up his agency and stuff, and he'd sorted us out to go to again Cambridge, which I didn't want to do, and Luton. I think Gary Brabham was manager at the time, because I think Philly had played with him at Blackpool, and like I didn't really want to, like the money that I would get in part time and working and stuff. Yeah, it was just like it's not really worth me doing, because I got a mortgage at the time and stuff.
Everything changes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you got commitments and bills to pay and stuff. And if I'd have been living at home, I might have given it a bit of a crack and thought, yeah, I might have another go. Yeah. But yeah, I'd kind of like Once I'd gone to Alfred and after Hinckley, that I'd kind of like, in my mind, I was like, I'm not getting back full time now, I'm going to try and carve a career out in non-league if I can. So yeah, I went to Alfred and it's somehow, I don't know what they paid for us, but yeah, that were an experience, good experience. Looking back, when I was young, I didn't, like younger lads don't like being told what to do, do they? And being got out and stuff like that.
No.
And I didn't. I was a typical young lad like that had obviously been at Sheffield and done quite well and played every game for Hinckley. And Nicky was on it, yeah, and rightly so, because he's manager and he want to win games. But yeah, I was like, this is not me. This like, not me at all.
I think like
constant.
Yeah.
I played under Nicky at Buxton, and we used to say certain lads
acting all the
just
time.
whether you're saying.
Just get one half for it though, Dom.
Yeah.
Just get one half for it on dugout side.
No, it was like all the time, yeah.
Nicky would just pick on the individual. And he'd be,
yeah.
There's nothing worse like fingers coming off the top
Yeah.
of
Yeah, but did you ask me why that way then? Or
No, I mean it weren't necessarily just me. It were like all of them, like all of them. Yeah. But I just remember like thinking,
get off my back.
I can't be fussed with this.
I think you start then thinking, is it worth this money here? Because I can
So having to fill pot.
No, but like, I think I played the first 21 games of that season and we were doing well. Yeah. And he'd said something to me, and I think I'd like put one out of play, which is not uncommon. Like, but I think he'd gone like, right man, keep it on the fucking island, and I was like, I'd gone back at him, and like I shouldn't have, like, because he was right, I'd shanked it out of play, but. That were kind of like, I was like, yeah, I've done that. And I didn't down tools, but like my mindset towards it was like, I can't be fussed with this. Like,
I'm trying my fucking best here.
Yeah, and like.
Not deliberately.
Yeah, but it weren't, like I say, it weren't just me, it were everyone. Like, he wanted to win games, and like, I didn't understand that until I got older. Because again, like, when you're a bit younger, I was 22, 23, you're still a bit petulant.
Sure. And as a footballer,
yeah,
you never think it's your
fault. No, you don't. You don't.
Especially when you're in game and fucking testosterone's right.
Yeah.
And if you know you're saying you're not starting at greatest, then the last thing you want is someone saying, keep it out fucking high.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't play then. I didn't play for the rest of the season. I had only the year left on my deal as well, and I didn't play. And ended up getting to play a final that year. So like. We were always in and around it, but we got to play a final, ended up losing out to Fleetwood. But like, he was still good as goalman when I weren't playing. Yeah, he was sound. Him and Russ were sound. And to be fair, that time probably like woke me up a little bit. Again, I was comfortable because I had another year, so I was like, it don't really matter because I know I've got another year. I know I've got another year's money coming in. Yeah. So I weren't really in any rush to kind of like leave. Yeah. We'd done well. I was on for a decent promotion bonus as well, so I was like,
come on lads.
Yeah, I was like, any chance lads, or what? Before game I was getting wrapped, lads, big star like.
Scarf on, bubble on.
And we ended up like obviously losing to Fleetwood, but.
Is that when Fleetwood went?
Yeah, so they went like into conference after that. And then that summer, like Nicky were like, look, like you're probably not going to play next season. So if you can get something sorted, then you can leave. Like, and I'm like, yeah, sound no worries. Well, again, weren't really in any rush because I know how things can change in football. Like injuries might have happened. But Weave's coming for us at Harrogate.
Okay.
Yeah. So Weave's coming for us.
They were in Conference North at the time.
Conference North, yeah. I think it was his second season as a manager. Yeah. And. Yeah, so he come in for us, but like looking back on my time at Alpha, and it was good. There were some top lads, like Aidan Flint played centre half.
Yes, he did.
Carl McFadzean.
Yeah.
Wow. There was Craig Dukes in it net, Big Dukes who'd like been at Hyde and places like that. We had Liam Earn up top, Paul Clayton. Yeah.
He's a Rotherham lad. So
he is.
I played with in County Senior before he like went on and did what he did. He used to turn up with fishing gear.
Yeah. Skip back to me.
And scored the black.
Yeah, I know.
On his knees and editing. And He was class, weren't he?
Yeah, very good. And him and Ernsey were like,
Strong.
I don't think he realised how good he was.
No, some leap on him as well.
Fucking hell,
Like, and him and Ernsey were top, like in that league at the time. They were
I
probably,
can remember it, mate, like
So-
yesterday actually.
Went to Ernie, does he work at Sheffield United?
yeah. So Ernsey works. He does the 16s, I think. But him and Clay.
Some strike force.
Yeah, it best in league by a million miles at that level. But it was good. Like we had a lad called Chris Paula who was just funny as all, like Rotherham lad. I had a good laugh with him. And it was just.
Chris have ended up with Nicky to Buxton then.
Yeah, he did. And it was just a good set of lads, like a proper top set of lads, and everyone stuck together.
Yeah.
I remember we went away to Redditch, and when Redditch weren't Redditch, it was like the old Redditch grass pitch, and it was horrendous. And we'd gone on a bus, and I think we'd got stuck somewhere, ended up like getting there at 20 to 3, kit straight on, straight out, and we ended up getting dick free, And we were bad, we were poor, but football doesn't have an excuse, don't we?
Yes.
And we were like, we'll turn up late and all this.
Which one can I use today?
Yeah, and it was perfect for us because like bus were late and we didn't have a warm up and all this like Redditch weren't great, and so we got back on bus on the way back, and Nicky, and there were some fans that had travelled down, and Nicky come back and he come to the back of the bus and he was like, look lads, like, I think because we were bad, 3-0 flattened us, like we probably could have got done 6, but we were bad. And he was like, for fans, like, have a think about you boys chucking in for their like coach fare and tickets and stuff. And like, what lads are like, they don't want out coming out of the money, do they?
No,
So
no
Nicky's
chance.
gone down to the back of the bus and come back up after, and he's gone like, what's crack, lads? And we've gone, no. And it like,
Take it out.
drivers
money
we've gone,
away.
no, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Yeah. And it's like, fucking Sam's you lot up and all that. And again, we just stuck together. But looking back though, like, we probably should have done, like, because they paid the money to go and watch us. And
Were everybody in agreement?
oh, everybody were like, there weren't one lad that were like,
No,
yeah, all right. Every single lad were like, no, not doing it. So it made it easy for us to stick together because there weren't one lad that were like, oh yeah, I think we should.
Fucking words, I thought bus were
Yeah, I know, that's what we were saying, like, I thought we rocked up at 20 to 3.
And there's actually an element of truth in it.
Yeah, so like lads were just like, no, not happening. And it didn't, and we
I
just...
think you're in a good changing room then.
Yeah, so lads just stuck together, like it were a good set of lads, and when I left in summer, again, Nicky were good as goal with me, Russ were, they understood that like I wanted to go and play football, and Philly, who looked after me at the time, were like, listen, you need to go and play.
Yeah.
And I did and loved it, and that's where I kind of bumped into Foz in Martin Foster at Harrogate. I travelled in with Foz, so it'd be worth getting Foz on as well.
Top boy.
Yeah.
Top boy. They were with Silsden last year in our league. A bit of an assistant manager.
Yeah, he were.
Class lad. We had some very good chat. And,
yeah.
One of the good lads, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's top bloke, Foz, and he's probably one of the most mentally strong blokes I've ever met in my life. Like, just like no phases him, like at all. And Foz likes to test people out. So when I got in the car, for one of the first trips, he was like, "You alright?" I'm like, "Yeah, sound Foz." He was like, "Want a good dog in then or what?" And I was like, "Eh?" But it was his way of like testing me out. Like,
how long had you met each other?
Oh, about 20 minutes. He was like,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Sebastian, that, didn't
no, yeah. Why up Harrogate? Want a good dog in? And I was like, yeah, go on then. Like, luckily I went, yeah, go on then. He was like, oh, you'll do for me type thing.
Yeah.
But and then, when
what would have been the age difference between you and Foz?
See, I was like 24, and I think Foz must have been 31, 32. Yeah. So he must have seen me as like, I can mould this one like into whatever I want type thing.
He's got 4 or 5 hours a week.
It happened that you had your older lads who get a young lad in who were a good laugh, good crack, and they would put their arm around you and they would bring it on. Yeah. And stuff like that. They've probably seen some, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think some of that it gets lost a bit, like you said with car schools, and I can remember when we were at Ossett and James Cottrell had signed, and we've all purposely got him back. And he's like, oh, brilliant, cheers, that's where me in front. They know that we've got Easter on at 6. You know, he's got wherever we're travelling. He's like, it's fine.
You know, just got cakes on when you get there.
And there's a little bit of that still.
Yeah, it's missing a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
it is, and you know the car schools, they're a lot of your fun times as well.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you used to travelling down to Grantham and that, with Warney and
Yeah.
things like that, and it used to be a laugh a minute.
Oh, it was mint.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really have it until I got with Foz.
Yeah.
So at Alfreton weren't that far.
No.
I used to go and pick Carl and Fads up in Sheffield and just travel down, and we used to have a good laugh. And Kyle, like, obviously gone on to have a top career. We're a bit of a boyo back in day.
Yeah.
Bit of a boyo.
Probably still is now, can I?
Yeah, probably still is. But like, what a career he's had. Like some centre half and still doing
we
it now.
mentioned with Wardy, where he's just signed at Chelsea, is it?
Yeah, just signed at Chelsea, Carl. Yeah. Yeah, so, but my first taste of a proper car school will be Foz.
We
yeah,
just shoot to.
just me and him to start with, yeah, me and him, and relentless.
No, we're doing it either way. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I was getting it like,
yeah.
but I think because he knew that like I were up for banter and stuff, he was like, yeah, I'm having a bit of that. And to be fair, he's been one of my best mates like since Foz. He was my assistant manager at Gateshead, which I'll touch on later, but. Yeah, he tested me out straight away, and he must have thought, yeah, I'm having a bit of Dom light. And then we signed Kieran Toner, centre mid, who were at Rochdale at the time, and being at Grimsby and stuff like that. Same question Foz asked him. As soon as he got in, literally as soon as he got in, he was like, yeah, sound. So then we knew we got like an alright one in the car. But yeah.
Nobody worry if lights start flashing.
Yeah, I know, yeah, car park. But yeah, no, it was just like Foz's way of like, is he going to be alright type thing. And because we were like, yeah, like I'd have shit myself if he'd have took me somewhere. But I think because I fronted it up, I think because I fronted it up, he was like, yeah, you'll do for me. And yeah, so Harry got the class, we'd signed a load of Geordie lads, Steve Bowser were up there, centre mid, Wayne Phillips winger, who was class. Yeah, Wayne was good, proper player. We'd signed Graham Armstrong up front. Chip Chalaka had signed, big Chip. We had
James there,
we had who played left back now? A lad called Craigs, I can't remember his first name, but being at Middlesbrough, played in SPL in Scotland, and we had a good team. And we probably underachieved a little bit. Matt Bloomer played centre half, Grimsby and that. So Bloomer's a top low.
Grass or that's
grass at times. Pitch were nice, so really nice pitch. Bill Fotherby was chairman at the time, and I think that's kind of like when we as family had probably started to get involved with it a little bit.
That must have been coming up towards end of Bill being there.
It were. But we had a top changing room like Dukes had signed, who I at Alfreton with, and we used to have dance-offs in changing room before game and stuff. Like Foz would put music on, and like he'd just point at you, and you'd have to get into the middle of the changing room and do like a dance and point at somebody else. And like we must have walked in and think like, what have I got here? Like,
what have I got to get?
Yeah, what have I got here? But
that's a different level from all in a circle, lads. You're gonna be a stretch.
Yeah, like it was just like madness. Yeah, if you're at worst in training, you used to have to give somebody a lap dance in changing room after training and stuff. And
is Foz at the heart of all this, or?
He was, yeah, and Blooms to be fair. I remember seeing Blooms in some like makeshift thong in somebody dancing changing room and like
quality.
Yeah, it was ledge, and we had John McDermott was assistant manager who was at Bradford Park Avenue, and it was a good story about that. So me, Foz and Tones have ended up driving up motorway a long way there, and we've clocked Macca on motorway, but he's not clocked us. So Fozzy's gone, we need to do something to Macca here. So like, yeah, what can we do? So like, we'll shit him up somehow. So he's gone, right, put your hoods up and laces on here, tie your hood so you can only see your eyes. So he put his hoods up, tied everything up. Like, we're driving past Macca. Foz is in back seat, laid down, and as he's gone past Macca, he's popped up and he's like jumped at the passenger windscreen, like Macca. So cars here, windscreen, not windscreen, the side window where the passenger seat is there. Macca's in that next lane. Foz has laid down and he's jumped up and jumped at this window with just his eyes showing, and he's going, you, giving it that one to Macca, and like where we odds up and stuff, and like you can just see his eyes, and they're pointing it and giving it that, we're coming for you. We ended up following him off motorway.
Has he come off at first?
Yeah, so he's come off to go to Harrogate.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but like he's like looking at us as if like, what's going off here type thing, and we're giving it him, like flashing him and all sorts on way, all the way to Harrogate. So he's ended up pulling into ground, like speeding off from us, pulling into ground. And as we've got to ground, we've got Art, and
gone like
Ud's down, just as normal. Alright, Macca? Yeah, Sam. Fucking hell, some blokes on motorway threatening to like kill me up way here, and it was free, like he wrote phone to Weaves as he's going into training, and Weaves was going, Macca's like, lads, Macca's somebody's after Macca on motorway, and it were us. Like, and Macca were like, you fucking knobheads, like, but like, things like that, like, were new to me, because I just travelled down somewhere, I never like, right around type thing. But
it was just a drive.
Like, but Foz turned it into like a mission. And like it was just it were a top change. And
I think that's like starting your day, like when some of your teammate picks you up, it's like right, we're with lads now.
Yeah.
And I think that gets you success sometimes. It gets you like 10 or 15 points.
Yeah, and it makes your journey shorter as well, doesn't it? Because like from Chef to Harrogate, it's not miles, but it's like a decent trek. But when you're having a laugh all the way, it's like, like we've got there, like,
just driving around
we've done so. But yeah, it were just, so yeah, it were a good laugh. Every journey were a laugh, and
just there for a year then, I guess.
Just there for a year, yeah. I played every league and cup game that season, cleaned up at like awards nights, and got player of the year, managers player of the year, chairman's player of the year, and yeah, that was kind of like probably the first time where I was like, I can forge a career in non-league.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start off the greatest, if I'm being honest with you. I was playing, but like probably playing within myself, and then I kicked on towards the back end of the season and did well.
Just needed a Mark Foster.
I needed a Foz that rate to bring me out of my shell.
That might have been reason it started.
Yeah, I know, probably. Yeah, I'm probably like, what's going off here?
So you've cleaned up at awards.
Yeah.
Good season for yourself.
Yeah.
Good season for the team finish.
Yeah, we finished about 12th, I think, something like that.
Which would have been a good achievement.
Yeah, it would, because I think the season before they got relegated, but then stayed up because the team chose to go down or went out of business type thing.
Why move on then? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, if I'm being honest with you, like, duh. Like, not a lot of people say it. They'll say, oh yeah, I moved because it was closer to home, but
not for the project.
Yeah, at that time, like, Gainsborough were like had just been bought or taken over by Peter Swan. And the influx of money probably again were kicking up even more in our league, and the standard were getting higher, and again it were Philly had got in touch with me because, and he weren't my agent at the time then, Philly, because I was kind of like, I'm 23 now, 24, I don't really need one, but the manager at Gainsborough was Brian Little, and Philly had played for him at Leicester, and Phil was like, Brian wants to sign you, and initially I was like, you know what, Phil was like, I've enjoyed it at Harrogate, like it's a good laugh, we're travelling with Foz, I'm probably going to stay, and he was like, no, like you need to listen to what they're going to offer you, and I was like, I'll listen, but I can probably.
At this point in time, you're thinking if it's 20 or 30 quid.
Yeah, I weren't fussed. I weren't fussed at all.
Enjoying car schools.
And I was just like, nah, I'll see what they've got to say, but I'm not ready to fuss Foz. And Philly, sorry, and he was like, no, like you need to listen to what they're going to offer you. So I was like, all right, sound. And yeah, what they offered us at the time were like double what I were on at Harrogate, and I were on decent money at Harrogate. Signing on fee, 52-week deal, 2 years as well. Yeah, unheard of, 2 years as well. So I was like, yeah, I'm going, like type thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even need asking twice.
Philly, it's me.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
And ended up signing for Gainsborough, and that were like, Harrogate were good. There were some good players there, but like Gainsborough were probably the time where like the top players but like league players were coming down to join non-league and stuff. Yeah. And it started when I was at like Harrogate, like we had like Tones and Foz and Bowser and stuff like that, but like At Gainsborough, it just went up another level.
Yeah.
Brian Little was manager, the budget was big.
Yeah.
We had Phil Barnes in there, who I knew from being at Sheffield with Barnesy were there. Myself, centre half were Gav Cowan, who's Brackley manager now. Top centre half, been at like Shrewsbury and Nuneaton, played a lot of conference and league football. Luke Waterfall and Boyce were the two younger centre halves that were coming through. Left back with Kev Sandwith, who played at Donhay, Mansfield. We had Ryan Williams, winger, who were at Hull, Little Willow. Again, top player that played loads of league games. We had Shane Clark in midfield, who'd been at Lincoln and Boston, and Terry Oakridge had signed at that time as a young lad. Craig Nelthorpe, who's mad as a box of frogs.
Integers.
Yeah, but like an art of gold. But so we had Nelly, we had Jonathan Delaria, played centre mid.
Come across John.
AFC Man
Went to AFC
Yeah,
Mansfield
yeah.
a bit later on, didn't
Yeah,
he? Man City, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Man City, Mansfield, Hyde. I think it might have been round.
You're
that
as close. You're close to a conference.
Oh yeah, we could have competed in conference easy. Like it wouldn't have been an issue for us.
That's one hell of an 11, 16.
Oh yeah, we had like Darren Stamp as well up top.
Yeah.
Paul Connor, who were at Mansfield, Stoke.
We talked, didn't we, before, and I said that Luke Beckett was
he'd gone Bex by the time I'd got there. We had Leon Netham, who again banged goals in at that level. Ryan Kendall up top. We had a proper team.
I also think I'm against it because of where it is. It's quite a big catchment.
Yeah.
I know there's obviously
we've just
been but
we've just been saying that
it's not far from Sheffield and Barnsley, it's not far from
obviously
Grimsby.
They've gone down, haven't they, into like sort of what was it, Unibon, you go stick Prem, whatever you want to call it, but they should be in and around level the way where Dom's side, Conference North, and a good side of that as well. But that's like a phenomenal.
Oh, it were a proper team.
Players
proper team.
Did you feel that? Did you feel a bit pressure going in because of what was here?
Yeah, a little bit, but like Brian Little was sound when I went in it, and I didn't play that many games for him because we didn't start off that great that season. I remember playing Stalybridge and we'd lost away, and he literally come in, and there was myself, there was like Steve Ausham, who then became manager, but he was a coach at the time. Stampy was a player there, but Brian Little in it, he had an assistant, I can't remember his assistant's name, but had played a lot of league football. And we'd lost at Stalybridge, and he'd just come in and he went, I think I've had enough of this non-league shit, lads. And that were him done.
Brian Little?
Yeah, Brian Little, that were him done. And I was like, alright, sound. And we never seen him again.
This
after his Villa days then?
Yeah, a long time after. He'd been at Gainsborough the year before when they'd struggled.
Yeah.
And then he got a good team together, and we didn't start great, and that were him done, and I think he played like 3 games.
Would you have had some help in terms of players? Do you reckon? Because it's obviously he's used to pro game.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he's had someone like Oush maybe like?
Yeah, I mean I don't think it were anything to do with anything really. We just didn't start well, and then Oush took over, and we went on like a mad run, like won. 13, 14 on spin.
What changed then? What?
I think it was just Oush is a bit more like banter, non-league banter, and it kind of like it became a laugh, a good laugh.
Yeah.
So I'll always say Oush was my best manager.
Oush is top.
We got Brig. 28, 29, probably before his loves of games, and the group of lads we had. We weren't the best. We pushed above his weight at league. We finished 8th, I think. But that group of lads had 7 or 8 nights out in the season, and it were all Steve doing a good character, having that banter and just knowing who to pull in and when to pull in.
Yeah.
And he went.
Do you think that's what it might have been with Brian Little, that he were just too non-league?
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes they don't get it.
No.
This is what I'm saying. Like Little did. Oush did.
Yeah.
So it weren't necessarily about the players, it was just about maybe atmosphere and people understanding. Now I've got 20 good lads here. And they're all fucking wicked. They've all got day jobs as well, and it's understanding that side of it as well sometimes. They're not just coming in and training and they're out today, they haven't been sat at home.
No.
They've been working as well, so it's...
When we were at Ponty, Brendan Ormsby come in as manager. don't get me wrong, he's won the European Cup, so none of us can tell
Yeah.
him, yeah.
We Ponte.
I'm chat manager. When he come in, you'll call me Gaffer. We're talking North East County.
Yeah.
Lads have never called anybody Gaffer.
Yeah.
It's not that.
See, like Brian weren't like that.
Yeah.
Weren't it?
No, he weren't. No. I think he used to working with top players, like top players in the Premier League, and like, and do you know what? He was sound like he was top bloke.
He was
like,
working with Merce when Merce won.
Yeah, like
top
unbelievable.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
got me,
yeah.
probably like Benny Carboni were probably there at times. Like he was working with top. He used to working with top players, and I think House just got it a little bit, and we went on a massive run and got to player final that year, beat loads of like conference teams in FA Trophy, and yeah, we lost to Nuneaton in player final.
We got player final
at our place, because how it worked then is whoever finished the highest in the playoffs, if you got to final, the game were at your ground.
That's right,
Massive crowd there, imagine.
Yeah, like 4,500 there.
Was there?
Yeah, it were like rammed, like, and we'd beat Nuneaton twice in league as well in the season.
You fancied it?
We fancied it, but like as you know, like you're always going to get. You're going to have one at some stage. You're going to get one.
Bit more pressure, I suppose, with that as well. If you beat them twice, so.
And we just
favourites.
we battered them, but they scored early, and we just couldn't get a goal. And so that was kind of like the first season. Second season, everything stayed as normal, like team pretty much. We signed Yates there, Jamie Yates, who were at Boston, and we'd added a couple of players, and again we kicked on, and we didn't kick on so much in league because we went on a great FA Trophy run.
Did you?
Yeah, we'd beat loads of conference teams, and league were kind of always like in back burner type thing. And I think we ended up finishing like 4 or 5 points outside playoffs, but we got to FA Trophy semi-final and lost to Wrexham over 2 legs, who were full time at the time. And we were a goal away from taking it to extra time in the second leg at our place, and again we battered them because we had a good team, a really good team. But yeah, and then that summer.
You played regular, don't you?
Yeah, I played every game for him. Yeah, I played every game for him. I think I might have missed a couple with injury over 2 seasons, but.
You've been alright
every game. Yeah, touch wood. I've never had like whatever it is. Yeah, I've never had any sort of serious injuries. I've had like niggles and knocks and stuff, but yeah, I've never had any serious ones.
Looked after yourself, though.
Yeah, I've tried to. Yeah.
You have done.
Yeah.
You still be playing at 39.
Yeah.
You have to look yourself to some degree. And
it's
31.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah.
Say we're going to say 39.
Do you know what? That's probably Fozzie's doing that, you know, because like when I were at Gainsborough as a player, so I've gone from like being a young lad, not really looking after myself, if I'm being honest with you, getting by on like ability. Went to Gainsborough, didn't really look after myself for them 2 seasons. We did really well. And then I did a sports science degree, so I started getting a little bit into it all and looked after myself for a season. This were after Swanee had gone, so he'd left in the summer. Money went then.
Yes.
But like, I enjoyed it that much. House were like, look, we want you to stay. So I did. Stopped with House for a couple of seasons and kind of got into looking after myself, and then House left, and then, because I'd been there that long, I think I'd been there like 6 years, like the chairman at the time, Richard, who I'm still getting really well with now, he was like, oh, we want you to do it. So I was like, yeah, I know. I was only 30. I was only 30, and initially it was like, very young, yeah.
It's young at North East County.
Yeah, I know.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Not Conference North, I know. So I think
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think because I'd been there that long, and I was club captain and stuff like that.
And it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming at you. It's great.
Yeah, and initially it was like, I'll do it till end of season, because we'd not had it.
Was House on the North Therapy?
No, House had gone. I think he'd got a sack, I think.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't really want to do it, but like, I was like, I've been here that long, I kind of can't say no type thing. So I did it till end of season, and we ended up stopping up because we looked in danger of like going down, and we ended up stopping up, and summer come, and chairman were like, look, what do you want to do? We want to give you a job permanently. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I didn't want to leave Gainsborough. Yeah, I know, at 30-year-old. And I didn't want to leave Gainsborough because I've been there that long. I've still got some good friends there that work there and stuff, and are involved with the club, and I'm still good mates with Richard now. But I'd been there that long. I kind of became part of that furniture, and I didn't want to leave. And I were almost like, if a new manager comes in, I've managed before, but I still want to play. He might see me as a threat and not want me there. So then, I'll be gone anyway. So I was like, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go type thing.
Did you get any advice from him?
Yeah, I spoke to Morgs, Chris Morgan, who were like, if it's something you fancy, have a go type of thing. And a few people, like, spoke to Foz and stuff, and Foz were like, look, you might never get an opportunity again, so
there's always that in the back of your mind. I fancy it, but I'm still at fucking pinnacle of it.
I know, and I played every game. Like,
beat yourself every game as well.
Yeah, because I wanted to play. I wanted to play still, so I was like, I'm still playing.
Back up front.
Yeah, I know, we're on free kicks and corners, I was on the penalties. But yeah, no, I wanted to play. On all set pieces, captain, everything. But I still wanted to play.
For it.
Yeah, well, I thought to myself, when I did it till end of the season, I still played. And then when I took over it, I was like, I'm not going to play now. Because I don't think you can do both. I think it's hard, especially at that level. Like, you're coming up against teams with big budgets, good players. It's hard enough playing, and then when you think about your team as on, you might be like wanting to make a sub while you're playing. You can't concentrate.
I was an assistant manager at Stocksbridge at 32, and fucking hell, it's hard. It's hard as an assistant because I was playing. I was assistant manager to Daz Schofield, and he was like, he needs to play. I can remember playing at Fylde when they were just coming up through leagues. They just had a new big stand on it.
Chucky Doll as well.
Beautiful surface and that. And we're 2-0 down at half time, and we've been bopped a bit like, we'll take 2-0 there. And I'm coming off and I'm thinking, I'm not going to fucking play here.
What can you say?
Because you're trying to focus on your own game as well, aren't you?
And as assistant manager and as a manager, you've got to have that bollocks to dig someone out. It don't matter if they're fucking 38 or fucking 18, does it?
No.
Everybody's got to be dug out. And sometimes young lads will go, well, he's digging him out and he's experienced and that. So you do that a little bit. And I'm sat there thinking, so Scotty's saying he's better. I'm thinking, fucking, I've been at bottom 3 players here. And I'm trying to fucking dig other people. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring this in to go, you've all been fucking wanked. I'll be thinking, so have you.
Because you know what they'll be thinking as well, won't you? Like,
because I'll be thinking same. So I've got utmost respect for you saying, I've just got to take this out of that play for a minute and just be a focus on.
I needed to, and I had people like, obviously it was a bit of a left field appointment. I was young, youngest manager in conference.
What were fans saying?
I'd been there that long. I think they kind of just got on with it because I was like, not club legend type thing. I'd played a lot of games for him, and I think I'm still the highest appearance holder in Conference North for Gainsborough. So I'd been there that long, and they kind of got on board with it. And it was an experience. Like, it was an experience going from dealing with, like, obviously just a player, just focus on everything. But as a manager, you have to deal with agents, players, board directors, and stuff like that. And I remember me off season because I got Fozzin as my assistant. Who, if you're going to get someone, you probably would want Fozzin with you because he's loyal as a dog, like, and he knows game.
Surround yourself with loyal people. That's what you do.
I can just imagine them trying to entice a new signing.
I know.
I can just imagine us turning up like that. We all do.
But we dog
but I think Fozzin mellowed a little bit then. I know he don't mellow much, but he had mellowed, and like we wanted to do it right. And we got some good players in. We signed Matty Fornell, who played at Forest and places like that. Shaw Lane, Matty, we'd signed Ash Worsfold, James Reid, who were at Nuneaton, left footer. We'd signed Matty Sparrow, centre mid. Brad Beatson, who was playing, who were a young kid who just been released by Wednesday at time. Jordan Fulis. So I got a good team together with my budget that I had, because I had the lowest budget in the league by a million miles. It was like $4.5 grand, which in Conference North is nothing, it's peanuts. So I got a good team.
Full time in there as well.
There were loads then, because it was that time where like teams were going full time. And I signed George Willis from Sheffield, keeper, top keeper as well. So I got a good team together.
Put together some
and people were like, no, would not in Gainsborough, but like in non-league, were kind of like saying I won't last 10 games and all this lot because I'd not been a manager before. And again, we didn't start off great, but we ended up, by the time I'd left, we were like 15th. But it got to a stage where like we'd got young lads in defence, and they were making mistakes because they were young lads, like I did as a young kid. I found myself all the time forever turning into, I was going, what has he seen there? Like, what has he seen? Like, because it was something that I wouldn't have done. And in end, Foz were like, you need to put yourself back in, like, you need to go and play. So I put myself back in, and we went on a bit of a run and doing quite well. And we'd climbed up to about 15th. We beat Harrogate 3-1 away, and we lost to Alfreton at home. And I knew that Alfreton had beat us because it was Nicky Lowe's last ever game in management. I knew that they were going to be up for it because they wouldn't want Nicky to go out on a loss. Yeah. And it's bad as a manager saying like I knew they were going to beat us, but they were a team of masters, like they had Craig Westcar, Matty Wilson, like they had good players, like and
I went that at Grantham right well.
And we lost 3-1, and I had fans after in bar like coming up to me, how come we can beat Harrogate and lose to Alfreton? And it dragged on, like the night dragged on, and I remember driving home with Foz when we got to, is it Sir Jack's, is it, Rotherham?
Yeah.
So we got to Sir Jack's, and I just went to Foz, I went, I fucking had enough, mate, I'm jacking it in. And he was like, eh? I went, yeah, I'm done, mate, I'm going to get back playing. And he was like, you serious? I went, yeah, I'm done. I would just want to go and play football. My kids were young then, and I was missing them going to bed and stuff. And I was like, I'm 31.
Taking it home here a bit as well.
Yeah, I were, and I'd clapped it on as well because I were eating my feelings, like, I was taking it personal.
I thought you were saying about, when I said Jack, you said McDonald's there.
Yeah, like, I'm probably going to McDonald's having pizza and all sorts, but like, because I don't like not being in control of things, and because I weren't in control of results, I was taking it personal, and
I mean, a couple of grand more on that budget.
I'd have done alright.
You're not got them young lads, have you?
No, I haven't. And
that's no disrespect to them, because they've gone on and forged the
like John Evans done really well. And
Brad's obviously playing still, isn't he? But
Willis is still out.
You've not probably got them.
No,
have you?
We missed out on some good signings in summer.
Just because you didn't have it.
Which we'd have been comfortable top 10 easy. And I might not have jacked it in because top 10 for Gainsborough on that shoestring would have been a good achievement. And a lot of managers I weren't sacked, like I actually resigned. Like I know some managers, I weren't sacked, I resigned, but I genuinely did resign. And I remember ringing Richard up the Sunday morning after, as I always did, and he was like, "Oh, just forget about yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done, chairman." He was like, "Eh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't be arsed. I just want to go and play again."
So you made that decision with Fozzie. Woke up next morning. Still felt the same.
Still felt the same. Richard tried to get Foz to persuade me.
That's what I mean. You slept on it, And
could you have quite easily picked phone up that meeting and gone? Did you feel like that, or did you think, or did Foz say to you, just have a sleep?
Foz were like, see how you feel tomorrow.
Get your head down and see if it's right for you.
And I just remember waking up thinking, I can't be bothered with this.
I need to play.
I want to get playing. So I jacked it in, and I remember Kitty were at Scarborough at the time, and to be fair to Kitty, I know he don't get on with some people and some people don't get on with him, but he tried to sign me loads when I was at Gainsborough as a player when he were at Guiseley. And I remember when I took the job, he rang me up and he was like, "Dom, I think you're too young, but if you ever want to get playing again, I'll take you at Scarborough." And I was like, I kind of almost like dismissed it, like as a, I probably said that to loads of people, but I'd resigned on the Saturday, told the chairman on the Monday, it came out on the Monday. On the Tuesday, he rang me up, Kitty, and he was like, "You coming to sign then, or what?" And I was like, "Fucking hell, fair play to him, like." I did, kept his word, and
he's not been everybody's cup of tea.
No, he hasn't, and he'd probably openly admit that, but I've not got a bad word to say about him. And
I've played with him and for him, loved him, falling out with him. Get on with him now. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but
no.
He's honest.
He is.
Where were you at physical wise?
I were a barrel, like a little barrel. But I'd played 6 games for Gainsborough prior to me jacking it in because I think in back of my mind, I knew it were coming, but I probably didn't want to let it on that it were. I were a little barrel, and I went up to Scarborough for 2 months or 3 months, who were in the league that we're in now at Ferriby.
Okay.
So I went in for 3 months, and like we had been big, I found it easy because I was a lot younger, and even though I weren't fit, I could read game, and we ended up like, I think we ended up keeping something like 10 clean sheets in like 13 games. And
this is when Scarborough was on the way back.
And we got to playoff final and ended up losing.
Were it 4G then?
No, because they were playing at Brid.
Oh, they were,
Yeah, playing at Brid.
If it'd been 4G, you must have played now.
I know, well, I'll come on to it later, but like, so I ended up like going up there for, a couple of months, loved it under Kitty, where I first met Bolds, and then Matty Forner had left Gainsborough in the summer and gone to Baseford, and he rang us up, Matt, and he was like, again, Baseford are paying dough, like, for the level that they're at, do you fancy it? And I was like, yeah, sound. And they were at the same level as Scarborough, so step 4 at the time. But what Gandhi had done at Baseford, who was the manager, have you ever come across Gandhi? Marty Carruthers.
I have.
Top bloke, like old school manager, like old school value, loved a laugh.
I'm assuming Gandhi because he looks like you.
Yeah. So he's known as Gandhi, like, but
well, alright, obviously for his game, didn't he? Like,
played at good stand, Stoke and Villa and stuff, but he again top bloke, top bloke. But what he'd done well is he'd gone to Conference North and took a load of us down, and we pissed it. Like I think we went 30 games unbeaten at Baseford, at step 4. Like we won league by like ending Feb. Like nobody could touch us. We had Ernsey signed, Liam Earns signed.
Yeah, he did.
Scored something like 14 goals that season. We had Rob Duffy up top with Earns, myself, Kieran Fenton, Lewis Carr, Ash Grayson, who played at Chef Club, Matty Fornell in midfield with Reader. We had the team were a joke for the level that it were at. Yeah, we pissed it. Like we knew that we'd go to games and we just batter teams, and we did. We went 30 games unbeaten, and we knew that we'd kind of got to.
Still take some doing that 30 games.
Yeah, it were even like I think 28, 29, 30 games unbeaten, something like that.
I think there's a real when you know you're better.
Yeah.
You've still got time to turn up with that.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
We're going to get a job done.
Yeah. And we did, to be fair, and we did. And we saw that we got promoted that season to the league that Baseford are in now.
One of them with that season that if you went 1-0 down, you were winning.
Yeah, we knew.
If you went 1-0 up, you were losing.
Yeah, we knew
that mentality.
Yeah, we knew that we were going to win.
Yeah.
We'd go 1-0 down, but we were like, we ended up winning 4-1. We just blew teams out of water.
And you personally then, Dom, I mean, all that stress of being a manager. Less than 12 months ago now, like.
Just loving it again. Just loving it. Like
the right decision.
Yeah, massively right decision. I weren't the fittest again, but like we had been together. I could piss the level like for the shape I were in, and I played in the middle of a back three, which helped even more. I had Fence to left of me, Lewis Carter at right, who were both young and could shift. So like I was just pulling him everywhere and sweeping up all crap. And I think we had best defensive record in league and scored most goals and most points. I think we've got over 100 points that year. And then we stepped up again to step 3. And then that's when I was like, I probably need to get a bit fitter now.
Yeah.
But I didn't like get ultra fit as what I am now. I kind of like went off like ability and being able to read game more than anything.
Did you think that the war, because obviously you said you'd gone Gainsborough to Scarborough, found it relatively easy, even though admittedly for yourself you were struggling fitness wise, you still found it because you had knowledge and you were standing at game, you found it pretty easy. Difference between that Conference North and Unibomb Prem or Evo Stick Prem, massive or?
Yeah.
Did you think?
I thought there was a bit of a gap.
Have you felt that all the way through your career?
Yeah, pretty much because when you get Conference North at National League and stuff, like if you're playing against wingers, they will not just one-dimensional. They'll take you short to come along, or they'll go like long to come short, or they'll come inside, and like they'll take you down line, or they'll cut in. You have to be on it all the time. Whereas like when you drop down, like you don't get that as much.
You might get odd game, one game, and then
Yeah.
week after you be like, I've got a cigar in here.
Yeah, I know what he's going to do. Like in the first 5 minutes, I can tell whether he's going to run
Yeah.
it or not,
Yeah.
and I'll just be in there.
Yeah.
So when it gets clipped over, I'm like, I'm clearing it or I'm taking it down or whatever. So yeah, I kind of like got away with it, so to speak.
Is that sort of when you thought then, you just obviously said, I need to get a bit fitter,
Yeah.
because I'm going up to a level where I know I'm going to have to
Yeah.
test myself week in, week
Yeah,
out.
so it was like step 3 and it did jump up a level and I did get a bit fitter, but then like Gandhi ended up leaving, ended up getting sacked, and me and Liam Earns did it for like a couple of months and did quite well, and then Steve Chettle coming in summer, and that's when like I was like, I need to get fit now. Like Steve Chettle, do you know what I mean?
Forest, yeah.
Legend at Forest, played God knows how many games in Prem,
Yeah.
legend in Nottingham. It was like
Centre half and all.
centre half, yeah, yeah. I was like, you ain't gonna have me like basically had these tight kits as well, right? Yeah, and I was
Jova.
yeah, well no, it was like some brand that like they
Had a big
had.
fucking heart for speed.
So in that summer, I was
Give me
like,
that subs coat,
Yeah.
give me the subs.
Stretching them with these before we
I was like, I'm gonna have to get fit now. Steve Chettle, like, and I did. And initially, I weren't Chet's kind of, because I played fullback then under Chet's, because he wanted bigger centre halves,
Yeah.
which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But I could play fullback, it weren't an issue. But he wanted a different kind of fullback. He wanted bombing forward, and so I played first few games, and I didn't. I kind of found myself out of it a little bit, and then went on loan to Scarborough in the same league at the time. Played fullback, and then I ended up getting called back, and yeah, and then I just played ever since for Chet's and played fullback, and I think he respected me for like the fact that I didn't kick up a fuss, and
Went and played your games at
yeah,
school, come back.
and I just got on with it. And when I come back, I think he kind of like he preferred me as a defensive fullback rather than somebody with
I was
that
crashing
all
on
the
that.
time.
You adapted, or did he
Yeah.
adapt to you?
Yeah, I think it were a bit of both. Like I'd adapted a little bit and got forward a little bit. Like it weren't an issue. I could still get forward, but like I always prided myself on a fullback being very good 1v1.
Yeah.
Like I always used to like try and wrap wingers up wherever I played against.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna wrap him up today. And I always had that mindset as a fullback, like he's not gonna beat me 1v1. And I think towards end, like when I got in team Chet's, like we're like, yeah, I feel more comfortable on side with Dom as fullback, who knows position.
I feel like that's got a bit done. You just like the,
Yeah.
you know, like I always said to obviously younger lads,
Modern
in my day,
fullback.
yeah, just sort of think of. I'd be thinking now, and I'm sure you are. Obviously, got a game tomorrow. I'd be thinking, what am I up to? Who am I up against tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'd research them.
Yeah, I agree now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like young lads
websites.
now look at me and be like, what? And I'd be
Yeah.
like, I'd be thinking about who I were playing Saturday, Wednesday,
Actually-
Wednesday after training.
I used to try and watch YouTube, do you know, highlights and stuff,
Yeah.
and like see who I were going to play
And I
against.
think that's got a little bit. A lot of lads now,
Still
young
been
lads,
out,
have
to
got
be fair.
ability.
Yeah.
And they come and just think,
Yeah.
I know it is. And yet you get your comeuppance sometimes.
Yeah, you
you're
do.
thinking, right, I'm up here, it's a big strong centre forward, I go as tight as I want, I win the medal,
Yeah.
it'll be a fucking rate race in the act,
Yeah.
because we're as slow as each other, and then you'll be thinking, right, I'm going to give myself 5 yards.
Yeah.
It don't
No,
seem
it
to happen
don't.
much
It
now,
don't.
does it?
No, it don't.
I'd even looked at lengths of like reading last match report
Yeah.
that you could have,
Yeah.
if it were right winger.
All that we were giving an advantage,
Yeah.
weren't it?
Cuts in
So,
on his left.
Mm.
and especially when you're a defender, I think your attack-minded players probably weren't doing that,
No.
because they were
Fly
like,
edge, play off cuff.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, I'll just get at it.
Yeah.
Remember he were a winger.
Yeah.
So he just played off cuff as well.
yeah. So, like, what I've found, like, obviously looked at your stats and stuff like that, Dom, is you were there a long time at Beresford,
Yeah. A long time. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
7 years,
7 years. Yeah.
which is unheard of, really.
Yeah.
On back of a 6-year stint.
Yeah. Gainsborough. Yeah.
That's some going.
Yeah.
That's some going. That's
It is
some
a-
loyalty.
it is a 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think that like whatever club I've been at, they've got the money's worth out of me.
Yeah.
Contract wise.
Yeah.
I like to think I've earned my contracts. I've earned my money.
Yeah.
Very rarely I'll be injured again. Touch wood.
Yeah.
And I always like to think I've earned my door. But yeah, it were a long stint, and
Enjoyable.
loved it. Yeah, loved it. I mean, that time under Chet's was probably like the best football I've played because he wanted us to play.
Did
And
he
I,
flag?
yeah, Callum, some player by the way. And we had
Is
a,
he still at Peterborough?
no, he
He
is.
went to Peterborough.
Yeah, he did from Nuneaton. I can't remember where he's at now. I think he might be injured. But everybody could deal with football, and we had to play out front back. We had to. He didn't like. He used to.
More
Call it,
4G then.
yeah. And he used to call it.
Well,
Yeah, but do you know what? The
That's
3G base was good. It's got a big thick layer of shot pad underneath it, so I didn't mind it. But like Chet's had like you're saying like don't shovel shit. He didn't want us shoveling shit in box. He didn't want us like hitting aimless balls. We had to play. Yeah, we had to play, and we'd pass teams off pitch. But we had even as goalkeeper could deal with football. But we had like a team of lads that could all play.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing really well the first season under Chet's. COVID come.
Yeah.
I think we were second at the time. Year after, did well again under Chet's, and then COVID sacked it off again in October.
Killed a lot of clubs, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think over the 2 years.
Yeah.
The 2 years, I think we'd worked out that if they'd have done points per game, we'd have gone up in top two. With South Shields.
Yeah.
And then Chet's left the third season, and then it was just a struggle then, like a struggle, yeah.
Did they ever think? Did you ever get caught after Cheltenham?
Yeah, the chairman offered it me a couple of times. I didn't want to manage again, and I still don't. I just want to play. No,
I think like we say that length of service. How you fell into it.
They do. Clubs do get comfortable, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, with your longest serving lads who have been good for you, and
Don't mind fancy.
Yeah, I'd been offered it a couple of times, and I didn't want to take over after a manager again, like I did at Gainsborough, because I got on really well with Alice, and looking back, like I was like, I shouldn't have done it, not from like a selfish point of view, but like I weren't ready, and like I didn't want to take over from a manager that I respected, and I kind of did it because I'd been there that long, and then I kind of thought moving forward, I was like, I don't want to take over again from a manager that I played for. So I ended up like having a couple more seasons after Chet's, and then I got the phone call from Bowles last season, which come about probably at right time for me at Beresford. I've been there that long.
It's not a bad club to go to, though, is it?
No.
And you'll have been 38 then, or?
38, yeah. Again, I'd played every game that season for Beresford last year.
Yeah.
But
Just going on your numbers.
yeah.
Because I've had a look as well. The numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, what we at, do you reckon?
I reckon including, I don't like count county cup games and stuff like that. I'm probably only going to league games and like FA Trophy and FA Cup.
Okay.
I reckon I'm touching about 860 games.
At that level.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Step 2 and step 3. To have that many games is ridiculous. That much. Obviously, you've done well with injuries and things.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah, I had to look after myself when I got older.
Yeah.
I've only ever been sent off once as well, which is not bad going for a defender, but it was Foz that like got me onto looking after myself, because mid-30s.
I couldn't have a meeting Foz.
Yeah, I know, but Foz were like shredded wheat Foz, and I remember him saying to me like, listen, if you want to play as long as you can, you need to look after yourself, because when you're going to get older, people will use your age as an excuse, but if you look after yourself, they can't use your age. And I was like, you know what, he's got a point here.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and ever since then, I was like, right, I'm on it now. And yeah, I've always I like to prove people wrong when people say I'm too old. I like to think, now I'll show you, but yeah, I end up I've probably done about 860 games at step. I've probably done about 750, 760 at step 3 and above.
Yeah.
Maybe 80 at step 4.
And counting.
And counting.
So you're with Bowles now,
Yeah.
and Robbo.
Yeah.
Is it Robbo?
Robbo, yeah.
Robbo, yeah.
He was a fullback, weren't he?
Yeah.
A good move for you, a club.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I
really
know how
good.
much I like to play.
Yeah, they do, and I've known Bowles years, and he's tried to sign me a few times, and I've always been one of these that I wanted to play as high as I can for as long as I can. But it got to the stage last season where I was like, do you know what? It's probably a good time for me now.
Yeah.
I'm 38, 39. I still want to play. Ferriby's a good club. Bowles is top. Robbo's top. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Still enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's
still got a buzz.
Yeah,
there's a game coming up.
buzz off games
yeah.
and like I was saying to you before, I travel on my own, but like I don't mind. It's like 50 minutes up.
Yeah, it's not
it's easy too. So it's alright.
As easy and accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty decent podcast one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm waiting to listen it up.
Yeah. Overlap.
But yeah, no, it come at right time, and Balls are like, we need some experience.
Yeah.
We've got a young team. We need some experience. Do you fancy it? Can you get out your deal? And I was like, yeah, I'll see what Beresford are saying. And I rang Beresford up, and I was just like, look, I think I need, because it weren't that I weren't enjoying it. I was kind of getting to the stage where I was like, am I done? Like, because I weren't getting up for games as much as I could at Beresford. I was like, am I done, or do I need a new challenge? Do I need to go somewhere else?
And I think, as anybody who follows non-league, it's been a really good move, I think, from what's happened to them this season.
Yeah.
Maybe chopping and changing.
Yeah.
Potter's just gone on to
Potter's has gone. Yeah.
New.
Yeah, and yeah, it come at a great time, and like.
You reckon they wants to keep you?
At Beresford.
Or did you get a feeling that
No,
like, it
I
was
got a
probably
feeling
amicable
I-
that we just...
I got a feeling I was kind of like, I probably weren't going to get out that summer.
Right.
That's what I got a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd had a few like run-ins with people that I get on with towards the back end of it, because like I've got a lot of respect for the chairman and people on board and stuff, but like, yeah, I've had my career, like I said to you before, I've had my career, and I thought, I don't need to keep quiet now. If something like bugged me, I let them know. And there were a few things that like bugged me a little bit, but I still respect people that are there, and the owner is putting money where his mouth is, and not a lot of chairmen do.
Yeah. You think sometimes like it's with certain clubs, they don't want you to have an opinion. They want you to play your football and get on with it.
Which is fair enough. And to be fair, I've never really had an opinion up until last. And like, you always have an opinion as a player, but like, I never really voiced it.
No.
But I was just like, and again, that made me think, am I done because I'm voicing my opinion, or do I need a fresh kind of like start? And yeah, Balls rang us up, and it was like, we'll take over your deal type thing. And I was like, sound? I've loved it since. Like, I played every game from, I think.
Is that just this season you've been there?
No, I went back end of last season.
Back end of last season.
I started at Beresford, played every game, left about February time.
Played rest of the season with Ferriby and where
this
are you
season.
currently now?
We're fourth.
Yeah, doing well, mate.
Doing well. But
Grimsby Borough tomorrow.
Grimsby Borough tomorrow.
Just before we end on, because it's been class time in a way, I think like in terms of what we've had on, obviously Wardy's were good in terms of his non-league career. There's a little bit more from Rich Tracy in terms of his professional career.
Yeah.
We're going to struggle to beat this guy in terms of what he's done in non-league.
Yeah.
In terms of his
at a level for the length of time.
If we can find someone who's still playing a 39 at step 4, then we've done well. I'm looking like that as well.
We'll get him on the part.
But just
I'll do part 2 when I'm done.
Any regrets, man?
I should have played a lot higher than I did. I mean, I'm not saying I would have played like championship level football or in Prem role, but like I got called up for England, so at one stage I was like one of the best defenders in my age group in the country at the time. But I didn't work hard enough as a young kid. Didn't work hard enough, which is why I'm pushing myself now. I'm literally trying to get everything out of myself now. Because I didn't as a young lad. So I probably should have played a lot more league football than I did. And I know I should have, because when I've always played against like wingers in like FA Cup games and stuff, also I've always done very well against like League 1, League 2 wingers. So I probably should have played a lot higher, but that's probably like my only regret really. I've played a lot of football.
Love non-league?
Yeah, I love it, It's changed. It's changed, but...
Did it surprise you?
Non-league? Yeah, because I'd come from that bubble at Sheffield, like I touched on earlier, like you were in with men then. And then like I said earlier to you before, I'd seen the Conference North go from like your top players when I first went to Hinckley, like your Gareth Seddons and stuff like that, maybe on like 500 quid a week, 450, whatever. So then when I left the Conference North, 11 years later, lads were on like £1,000 a week.
It's because it
Right, and it had just gone, like the levels had just gone
businesses
up.
are putting money in,
Yeah,
saving
yeah.
opportunity
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So.
Just from listening to you and your story, I also think probably one of the detrimental things against yourself was at that era, 4-4-2.
Yeah.
You sound like you probably would have been perfect as a right centre half and a third.
Yeah, or even in the middle of a 3 with 2
Yeah.
units next to me, like I probably would have done alright, or maybe like I say right of a 3 because I was comfortable playing full back. I didn't mind getting dragged out wide, but yeah, a lot of it was you played way back 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, no regrets really.
Yeah, probably if you had your time again, you probably would have done that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There's a lot more of that now.
Yeah. But yeah,
Balls might change to a 3
No,
tomorrow.
I'm hoping he don't. I'm hoping he don't. I've got a big Tillo next to me who heads everything, so...
Listen mate, it's been absolutely class. I really appreciate you coming on,
enjoyed
did your time.
What is the change into a 3 was playing wing back?
Yeah. No, it's been class.
No,
Thanks so
I've
much.
really enjoyed it.
Spot on.
No, cheers, thanks for that. No worries at all.
Cheers, mate.